G'day traders, welcome to wrap up of Wednesday 26th of October. Started today with very much a sideways bias, unsure whether the market wanted to push up or push down. So on the daily, still on the upside, but we'd pushed up through a resistance a few days ago. The market's pulled back under that resistant area again now, so I was unsure whether the market wanted to consolidate that and push back down, or whether it just wanted to pop back up again. And you can also see in the pre-market, the market has gone very much sideways here. There's not a lot of action telling us what the market wants to do. So basically, those kind of days, you start and let the opening tell you what the market wants to do. So to start off, it started to push down. Quite a bit of sideways action here, so tough to take advantage of this here. Unsure what the market wants to do. We're still before 10 o'clock. Once 10 o'clock came, the market did start to sell off. This particular power point here, an opportunity to fade. This is normally one day would look very closely at. He's giving these ones a rest at the moment, just because they've been causing him a bit of grief. But today, this one did work, so I guess it is an opportunity to look at. Then the market continued on to push down. You can see yesterday's close here. So this is the gap line. So this is very much what the market was attracted to and what was bringing in the sellers. So we'll definitely want to come down and grab this yesterday's close. Just pulled up short there and pulled back up. So once it did that, then this sometimes is this is quite a good fade to call off and go for, even though it didn't work. I guess David considered it. He did consider it, but looking at a few of the other areas, in the end left it. But one quite often, if the sellers were really wanting to push now and push strongly, they could push through it. But it did turn around and bounce off that and started to head back up. So as at this stage, we actually took a buy or a power fade just here. So the reason being that we did that is we've come down to yesterday's close, it's pushed back up, it's had its chance, like I said. Normally this would push through. The fact it didn't indicated that definitely that the buyers were maybe taking control, and this is a great opportunity to get on the upside early and push up. And if this started to go up, you could possibly get 3-4 points out of it. So definitely an opportunity. One probably left for more the experienced type of traders, a little bit against the trend, but in the end didn't work. But just that's a bit of a background as to why we're looking at that area there. So sellers came back in, broke down through this gap line here, and pushed down really heavily again. So the sellers coming in strong. Basically the market then came down this yellow, turned around. So some of these yellows are holding up lately. So we had a run of yellows not working. Now all of a sudden we're seeing these yellows turning the market around, which it did there. We've then pushed through this purple. So this is a good example of taking the purple with the overall trend of the daily market. So even though we'd pushed down all morning, the dailies is on the upside, and this is what you tend to do. You tend to take the purples if you do trade them with the overall daily trend. So the market's pushed through there because we've had such a sell-off. The buyers had enough of that. They want to take back control because at the end of the day, they've been around for the last couple of weeks, and they pushed the market up here. The market then pulled back to this green. So this green was actually a really good setup, which the trading room got on. So these greens have been failing a lot lately. That's because they've been setting up a lot lower. Okay, so when they're setting up lower, there's a chance that the market's going to get momentum back and actually push straight through them. But this one's set up in a lot better area. Definitely a perception that the buyers were around too. So one that we actually took and got a couple of points out of as well. Okay, so the market pushed up. You could have got whatever you want out of that green one. It has gone up from 21 to 28, so it did push up 7 points from there. So quite often these power points that David has been taking, he's taken a few more of these lately. They're working, and they're working really well and going quite a few points. So that's a good one. We then pushed a little bit sideways here. We started to approach lunch. So just here, where this white arrow is, there was actually a sell, a 5-minute sell. Not the best area. Even though we got not a bad entry, power fade entry, it was an area where the buyers looked like they wanted to come back in. It is lunchtime as well, so selling during lunchtime is not always a great idea. And in the end, it did pop up and would have stopped you out pretty quickly. Then tried to push down, looked like it was going to actually start to push the market down, but then popped up again. So definitely a bit of sideways movement there, and not the best kind of sell that you want to take advantage of. So then we continued on through lunchtime. Then you can see the sellers starting to come in again. So this white arrow here is actually a sell. So by this stage, this was a lot better looking sell. It looked like there was a lot more pressure on the downside. But the entry, not a good entry at all. Right at the bottom of the PowerPoint, it needed to be up here. So one that you can't take purely because of the entry, because the chances are it's going to pop back up. stop you out. In the end it didn't. It went smack bang on 8 ticks, so if anyone did take it, you might have been lucky to get your 8 ticks. So definitely a better area than this previous 5-minute sell, but because of the entry, not the best one to be taking. From then, but basically right into that 5-minute sell, the buyers came in, and they came in really strong. At this stage here, through David's experience, basing it on a couple of other days' action, he thought that the buyers could come in very strongly, which in the end they did. Looked at power fading this one here. In the end we didn't. It's a good move because it would have got stopped out. And the very next one, it pushed through really well. So I'm sure a lot of members actually would have taken this fade because Dave was talking about it. I'm sure some members would have picked it up, but great area because the market pushed up quite heavily here. Once again came to one of these yellows and turned the market round, so a couple of point pullback there. And then from there you can see after that strong upwards move we've got some quite volatile and erratic movement. So there was some announcements earlier on or some market news that came up which pushed the market up. From there I guess the market was a little bit unsure of what it wanted to do, so you can see there very uncharacteristic movements, volatile, large wicks. Something you just want to step away from for a bit until you start to see the market smooth out again, which is I guess from about here onwards. And from here we've got another 5-minute buy in this case, so the buy ended up coming up here. So you can see now the market's very extended there, not a very good entry because it's already pushed through the power point, so one we left alone. But we were looking at it very closely, and you can see it was only in the last couple of minutes that the market pushed up through this power point here. So we're hoping for it to hang around here. We're definitely going to take it if the market stayed here and got that signal, but in the end it pushed before we got a chance to get on it. So by the time it's pushed through, it's too late then, so you definitely want to take the entry down underneath the power point. From after then, not a lot of opportunities. The market's still moving with quite a bit of volatility. If anything, this was a power point that we looked closely or looked at a little bit. You see the market here. It's pushed up, pulled back. So this is one that's normally going to hold the market back up and turn it around. So opportunity there to maybe get 2 points out of that particular one. But after that, then it was pretty much all the opportunities were gone for the day, and we didn't look at taking any further trades from there on in. You can see the market's just pretty much gone sideways. So bringing up the 5-minute chart, the 3 signals that I talked about. So here's the first of that sell in the morning. So this particular one, not the best area, just because we'd had a really solid move down. The market's then pushed up, so chances were the market was just pulling back again before the market wanted to push up again. Just a bit of a 50-50 area, one not the best one to take advantage of. In the end, it would have got stopped out. We've then gone sideways. The market has pushed down again. So now that it's pushed down again, that's the one I was talking about before. That it's a better setup. You can see, but just by looking at it, there's a lot more pressure on the downside. But the entry was not very flash, so one we have to leave alone. As with this one up here, so you can see the market's now pushed up, definitely back on the upside. Market's pulled back a little bit here. It's wanting to push up and make higher highs, so great opportunity here to take advantage of the 5-minute. However, the 5-minute entry, terrible entry as well. So this particular trade here, after looking at it and wanting to take it and coming close to taking it before it pushed up, was a good example of a great area to trade, but just a very poor entry. And at the end of the day, if you don't have the entry, you can't take the trade, because even if you're in the right area, which it did, it popped up, you're going to get stopped out. Because you're going to get a bit of a pullback, and with our short stop outs, it's going to cause a bit of grief. Righto, that's a wrap up.